Okay, back for another scrapbook video. Favre talks points at retirement. Yeah, that was one issue that with Brett Favre, like toward the end of his career, there was some indecision about whether or not Brett Favre was going to retire, and I guess that frustrated the management in Green Bay with the Packers. All right, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be televised by ESPN at noon today. Here's a couple photos. Well, okay, so there's two photos at the top. One is Dan Marino and one is Steve Young. And there's another photo at the bottom of Brett Favre. Prolific QBs enter Hall of Fame today. Quarterbacks Steve Young and Dan Marino, along with quarterback Benny Friedman and running back coach Fritz Pollard, will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame today. Here are some of their career highlights. Steve Young, selected to 7 Pro Bowls and was MVP of 1995 Super Bowl for San Francisco, threw for 3,000 plus yards 6 times, rushed for 4,239 yards, second most all-time for quarterbacks. Dan Marino holds records for most career passing yards, 61,361, more than 10,000 more than next highest, and touchdowns, 420. First player to pass for 5,000 yards in a season, 1984. Also completed 48 touchdown passes that season. Played entire career, 1983 to 1999, with the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, the Dan Marino record there that I mentioned in this, the passing yards in a season and the touchdown passes in a season. I think those were both broken by I think either one or the other or both of them were broken by the quarterback Drew Brees, I think. Who used to be with the San Diego Chargers, and then he went to the New Orleans Saints and won a Super Bowl. The end seems near in Favre talk. Yep, talking about his retirement indecisiveness, probably. Here's a photo of Rich Gannon. Richard Gannon? Gannon to leave field for TV booth. Rich Gannon ended an 18-year NFL career Saturday, retiring from the Oakland Raiders after missing most of last season with a broken vertebra in his neck. Wow. The 39-year-old quarterback announced his decision, one that had been expected for months. At the team's training facility, the 2002 NFL MVP already has signed with CBS Sports as an NFL game analyst. Gannon guided the Raiders to the 2003 Super Bowl before spending much of the last 2 seasons injured. Gannon threw for 28,743 yards and 180 touchdowns in his career with Minnesota, Washington, Kansas City, and Oakland. In his MVP season, Gannon passed for 4,689 yards and 26 touchdowns while completing more than 67% of his passes. He was selected to 4 Pro Bowls and was MVP of the All-Star game twice. More about Favre that I don't need to read. All right, well, here's something different. 10 great places to die for. To die for. I don't really care for that expression. Something to die for. Like people say that over such silly things. Like yogurt. 10 great places to die for, figuratively speaking. Oh, not literal? You're not being literal here? Oh, well, that's good. At least you're being figurative and not literal when you say something to die for. In Arches National Park, the trail climbs gradually through the spectacular and shadeless terrain of the high desert to the delicate arch. So here's a photo of that. I wanted to go to see the Arches National Park, which is in Utah. I think it's Moab, Utah. Yeah, I was living over there for a year and a half in Utah. But I didn't have a job, so I didn't have any money. The money I had to go to groceries, and sometimes I would go to a movie. So I couldn't find a job over there in Utah. So I couldn't really go anywhere to spend money. Not really. Nothing that wasn't free. If I was there, if there was something to do, I had to do it. If it was free. I couldn't spend money on things unless it was for getting groceries. So there were things I wanted to do there. Like, I was over by Salt Lake City, though, so the Arches were nowhere near where I was, but it was in the state of Utah. And there was the Great Salt Lake, which wasn't too far. Well, I guess it was far for someone who didn't have a car. I had a bike, so I don't know how long of a bike ride that would have taken to get to the Salt Lake, which I heard smells sulfurous. But it would have been real neat to be able to go over there and look at the Salt Lake, just to say I was there, I saw it. It would have been great to take some photos of it. But I never got around to doing that. That's something I could have done for free. I did bike out to the city of Salt Lake City. That was interesting. Because I lived outside of the city, which is maybe I think it was like about a half-hour bike ride away. Yeah. I even considered, because the Utah Jazz basketball team was there, I considered going to a game, even though I don't really care about basketball, but I just thought, oh, that'd be kind of neat to go to a basketball game. In Fjordland, it takes about 5 days to complete the hike through the Milford Track. So here's a photo of that. So this is more about places to die for, figuratively speaking. Princess Royal Island, in Canada. This rainforest paradise of moss-laden trees and tumbling rivers off the west coast of Canada is one of the few places in the world where you may have the privilege of encountering a spirit bear. Whitish-colored black bears, spiritually important to the Kitasoo size people, Jones says. Think Lord. Oh, think Lord of the Rings film sets, and you may come close to picturing the tangled, mossy web of old trees that makes exploring here so magical. Who's Jones? Who's Jones? I don't know who Jones is. Huh. Jones says. Well, that's weird. Arches National Park. Okay. Moab. Yep. Moab, Utah. Embedded deep within the Colorado Plateau where it sprawls into Utah. Moab is the center of a quintessential North American outdoor playground. Jones. There's Jones again. Jones is saying this. Set in a desert-like arena of canyons. Natural rock arches, whitewater rivers, and imposing sandstone towers, it boasts access to a unique collection of otherworldly landforms. There is no shortage of activities here, but the easily reached and expertly managed hiking trails of the national park offer the best snapshot of this grand, spectacular landscape. Sounds neat. Here's another photo. Below this photo, it says, in Verona, the Outdoors Opera Festival continues through August 31st. Arena of Verona. Immortalized by Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, Verona now trades as the city of romance, Jones says. You can even visit that famous balcony for a reenactment. But for more blazing passion and highly charged emotions, open-air opera is offered at one of the oldest Roman sites in the world, the outdoor arena amphitheater at the heart of the ancient Italian city is where this veritable extravaganza of color, light, and sound takes place. Marrakesh, Morocco. It might sound like a long way to go for a spot of shopping, Jones says, but the vivid colors of its bustling souk, S-O-U-K, the red of its Medina walls, the mingling aromas of 1,000 spices, and the sounds of storytellers, fire eaters, and snake charmers certainly make Marrakesh one of the world's most exotic locations to try your hand at bargain hunting. Marrakesh. I think that was mentioned in one of the Indiana Jones movies. The Val Blanche, Chamonix, France. Hidden among the high mountains of the French Alps above Chamonix, the Val Blanche is Europe's longest off-piste, P-I-S-T-E, off-piste ski run, offering unique access to a wild, snow-swept, ice-carved landscape, Jones says. For intermediate skiers, remote towering alpine peaks, including Mont Blanc, crevasse-strewn glaciers like Mer de Glace, and limitless powder snow await. I think it's time to pee. I'm going to go pee now, in case you were wondering.